previous episode, I promised that we are going to return to ownership concept in Mojo programming language and go deeper. This is that episode. This is a single feature that lets Mojo be safe as Python and as fast as C++ at the same time. It is also the part I found most foreign coming from Python. So true to form, let me explain why it exists before I show you the how. In Python programming language, you never think about who owns a value. For example, you make a list, pass it around, and a garbage collector quietly cleans up. But that convenience has a cost. The collector runs while the program runs, pausing your own code at unpredictable moments. For a model chewing through petabytes, that brief pause is going to hurt and is going to consume a lot of time. In C or C++, it throws out the collector for their speed, but hands you a loaded gun. Forget to free memory and you leak it, free it twice and you're going to corrupt the whole program. Mojo's answer is a third path. Instead of a garbage collector or a manual bookkeeping, the compiler tracks ownership for you and insert the cleanup automatically at compile time, zero runtime cost. And it all follows from three values. 1. Every value has exactly one owner at a time. 2. When the owner's lifetime ends, Mojo programming language is going to destroy that value. 3. If the references still exist, Mojo keeps the owner alive for them. And that's the entire memory model. Everything else in this episode is just the vocabulary to work within it. From the previous episode, if you recall the convention we use, read, mutable, and variable, now you can see them for what they really are. Two different relationships a functions can have with a value. The first to borrow, the function gets a reference and promises to give it back. Read borrows immutability. Look, don't touch. Mutable borrows mutability. The caller sees the changes afterwards. And third, the variable, it takes the ownership outright. The value becomes the function's value and the caller gives it up. And here is the crucial insight. Borrowing doesn't copy. You can pass a million row dataset as a read and nothing is going to be duplicated. The function just gets a safe temporary view. Now here it is summarized. Only reads its data. Read is the default by default, so it writes nothing. Append row is marked mutable, MUT, so it can change the list and the caller sees that change. Borrowing, it covers the most of the code, but sometimes you genuinely want to give a value away, hand it off and stop using it yourself. That's something called a transfer. Now you signal it with a caret, SIGL, caret signal. Here we hand our node to archive. After that line, archive owns the string completely. And after that caret, our original variable is dead. Try to print it on the next line and the compiler is going to stop you. Not at the runtime, before the program ever runs. Which means the entire category of use after free bugs, some of the most dangerous security holes in all of the software, simply cannot be written in a safe Mojo programming language program. Here's a detail that surprises people coming from other programming languages. Mojo programming language, it destroys a value as soon as it is no longer used. Not at the end of the block, right after its final use. So in a C++ style programming language, name would live until the closing brace. But in Mojo, it's gone the instant after we print it. So it's eager rather than lazy. Resources immediately get released at the earliest safe moment, which keeps your memory footprint very tight. Exactly what you want when every gigabyte you're working with counts. Mojo also lets you hold a direct reference to a value that already exists with a REF reference binding. Now watch, second is bound to the item at index 1 and it's a reference, not a copy. So adding 5 to a second writes straight through to that list. Second isn't a copy of that item. It is that item seen through another name. And by rule 3, Mojo keeps the whole list alive so the reference can never dangle. Now how does the compiler know second is tied to the list? A compile time concept called an origin. The reassuring part for you, you almost never write origins by hand. The compiler infers them. Let me tie it together with something that looks like real code. A tiny ledger. Total only looks. Post may change. Finalize takes the value away for the good with a caret. Now it's tempting to see all of this as overhead, but it buys you three things most programming languages make you choose: safety proven at compile time, speed with no collector, and clarity. Every signature states what it's intended for. In the next episode, we are going to go even one level deeper to the precise moment a value is born, copied, moved, and destroyed.